yet.
At any given time.
Well, for me, this would be the perfect time.
Absolutely, yeah, all three
You never know when
aspects of
that
public
time's gonna be.
safety are,
90
yeah.
degrees.
You never know when that time's gonna be. That's the thing, if we have crystal ball, it'd be easy.
Before I get out of bed. I get
Well,
up.
you know, when I do the dockets on Sunday night, it's what they call the public record, and I happen to get it this week.
Good morning. I'll officially call this meeting of the Seneca County Board of Commissioners to order for Tuesday, October 4th. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Again, this weekend, they had a case where they
Commissioner
had
Zoller will
within
lead us
4
with the
minutes,
prayer.
2 minutes.
Dear Lord,
Back to back.
let's bow our heads. Thank you for this beautiful weather that we're having. We are so thankful to be in a land of such free land. We appreciate the democratic process that we're going through. We ask for your strength, and as we go through the selection of picking out a new leader in our country, and we ask for the blessings of all the people of Seneca County in addition to that. Thank you, dear Lord, for all of your help. Amen.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Stacy?
Here.
Commissioner Zoller?
Here.
Commissioner Frischner?
Here.
Okay, we'll have the signing of the journal, and I'm accepting a motion for the DVD recording, to approve the DVD recording of the previous session, which was Thursday, September 29th, and the written index of that meeting.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Approved. Thank you. Do we have any adjustments to the printed agenda? Anybody have anything that needs to be added?
Yeah, I did. I wanted to go through that Justice Center update from Quando. I'll
Okay.
go grab that very quickly.
All right, anything, Nicole? Nope. Julia's not in here yet, is she? Okay, let's begin with the Justice Center update.
Okay, we get a weekly report filed by Quando, who is our owner's representative, and I just thought it would be good to include that in the minutes so that it goes on our website, so that anyone who wishes to view what the progress is can do so. Just to let everyone know that Gilbane, who is the general contractor on this deal, is on site daily. They have an office above Casa on Court Street, so they kind of have a bird's eye view of what's happening. As far as Klaus is concerned, they got the sub on the excavation work, and they are in the process of excavating footers, reinforcer the footer excavation, pouring some concrete, pouring some foundation walls, and doing sanitary sewer directional bore. We're all testing bearing for bottom of footer excavations, and concrete testing and excavation is some of the things that Quando we're doing. The next couple of weeks, we can expect that the submittals for the Phase 2 will be sent to Silling for their review, Silling being the architect engineer, and that we'll continue to do the footer excavations, and that the wall panels will be set for the foundation, and then you'll start to see steel arrive to bring this thing out of the ground. There really are no large potential issues at this point in time. The project accomplishments have been that the sanitary sewer directional bore tap has been completed, and we have poured the first section of the foundation walls. So we will make this a part of the minutes of our meetings on a regular basis, so everyone will know where we're at. There's also a couple pictures that'll be scanned in, and I just thought it'd be a good thing for anyone who wishes to follow. That's it.
I guess, Commissioner Kirsten, I have a question. Talking with one of the contractors the other day, I understand there was some water issues with Aqua, and we had to incur some additional expenses to add drainage around the walls. And just wondered, is Aqua gonna help cover some of that expenses because, from what I understand, it's a leak on their water line.
Yeah, I think that's something we need to go over with Superintendent Logston. I believe that the recommendations made were such that they would have done those anyway because they needed the extra drainage around the building for the potential of any problems. I know that Aqua, as you say, has been notified. I know they looked for the leak, and I'm not certain what the outcome of that is yet, but it's hard to quantify exactly any exact amount. Because I think that, as I say, most of that foundation work would have been done as it has already been done anyway. So time will tell, but that's where it's at.
I'd like to set up a meeting with John Logston and kind of get an overview of that if we can.
The good news is that we are now putting together with the city a map, if you will, of exactly where the sewers are, where they lead, who's tapped into what. Up until this time, we have not had that. It's just been a prodding process trying to figure out which one is connected to which one and where it's going. So after this is done, while it's being done, those things are all being mapped. Everybody understands exactly where they're leading to and where they're coming from.
Thank you.
Makes sense. Under adjustments, I meant to add airport property. We'll do that under new business, I guess. We'll talk about just an update on where that's at. So we don't have everybody yet here for the wellness, so let's go to regional planning assessments as an item under old business. We discussed this a bit on Tuesday. And the regional planning board meets tomorrow night, and it's an item for their discussion. So from here, did you want Charlene to give it another overview, or did we just have some questions for her? She provided us with a spreadsheet she sent us yesterday. I think she's met with you, Mike.
Mm-hmm. And Fred.
And Fred.
Okay.
Yeah. At this point, we're just going to have further conversation after our board meeting tomorrow night, because we want to make sure everybody's aware of all the different things that can take place before we move forward. So at that point, that's what we're going to do. And right now, we're just working on putting together some budgetary numbers for regional planning. So we're putting all those together.
Okay.
I'll just make the comment that, Charlene, I think you've done an excellent job, and you've elevated regional planning to a higher level than what it has been.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right. EMS.
All right. I guess I'm on.
You look
Come on.
What's that?
Drum roll,
You
Ken.
look surprised.
No, I didn't know we'd get this soon, but really what I'm here to do is tell you that we have taken delivery of all 3 of the ambulances that we purchased with grant money. And I have one here to show you. They're 3 identical trucks, and they're striped and lettered. We got all that done. We're about 2 weeks ahead of schedule. But now we're waiting on some components and radio parts to get the radios installed in the vehicles, and they'll be on the road. Hopefully, well, we will have Atticus truck to them by this weekend because they have an open house this Saturday. So that'll be there for that, as well as the 2 other trucks are going to New Regal, and then to Bascom will follow probably in the weeks after. So it's the first time I've been through a project where we're putting 3 trucks together at the same time. We've run into some space issues, but we're overcoming those without a whole lot of difficulties. The trucks passed inspection, and we've got a couple little minor things we're working on, and it's all good news. So that's a successful project, almost complete. We got the pencil on the paper, we just haven't checked the box yet. But they're here, and if you guys would like to walk outside and take a look at them, I'd be more than happy to show you through them.
I'd love to have a look at it when I'm in good health.
Well, that's the best time, really. Otherwise, all you see is the lights.
Yeah, I don't want to look at the ceiling.
It's too late, Freddie.
Do you want to do that after the meeting?
Yeah, I think so.
Absolutely, after the
Yeah.
All right,
meeting,
so
yeah.
I got to park right out
don't
front,
leave
it's no
or come
problem.
back.
Yeah.
I'm not going anywhere. I'll hang out
And-
here.
Stick around.
If we forget, throw the sirens on.
And if
Right.
anybody- Yeah.
It's
if
got some
anybody-
great air horns too. Those things sound like a train coming at you. It's good
If it
stuff.
doesn't remember this was local government.
Local
and they-
government.
Funds for safety
Yes.
grants?
Yes, it was a local government safety grant. We originally applied for $500,000, which is the max award. We were awarded $337,000. Yeah, roughly.
Around there.
And with our matching funds, which is about 150, this enables us to get ahead of the curve on our vehicle replacement schedule. Normally, we replace a vehicle every 3 years, and since we have 7 first-run ambulances, that's trucks on the road 21 years. That's a long time. So this puts us ahead of that about 3 to 5 years, which is going to free us up to be able to utilize the money that we budget every year for vehicle replacement to make sure that we replace the Echo unit and other vehicles that we need to replace. And until this, we really didn't have a really good option there other than asking for money. So this puts us ahead of that. During the process of the grant, we got MOUs signed from the joint ambulance districts, and I think really that's what pushed us over the top as far as getting the award that we did. The collaboration and the efforts between all of the districts, and I know that they're going to be happy with new vehicles. Our vehicles tend to not get a lot of mileage, but they do get old sitting under us. We don't do transports, we don't go all over the country, but we do everything local. We transport to 8 local community hospitals, and it's good to have a very dependable, newer vehicle that has all the safety standards. And I can show you some of those safety implementations that we did. Those are federal required, mandated safety updates, cot restraints, and also 5-point restraints for everyone that's seated in the vehicle. The cot restraint system is tested 25 G's lateral load. It's a long way from what we started with. It's a long way from the vehicles it's replacing. They're pretty state of the art. It's good stuff.
Good. Thanks, Ken.
All right. We'll check it out after the meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ken. All right. We will go to wellness then. Update on the wellness program for the county. And I don't know who was going to lead through that. Was it going to be Bob? Bob's here, isn't he? Somewhere.
I'm back.
There he is. He's in the back row. Because I didn't think he left.
Yes, I can. I mean, we had a meeting of the Health Advisory Committee, and I know there's a resolution prepared with recommendations from the committee on the wellness incentives. As far as the program through Stay Well, we're really not going to see any changes from what they did last year. There's a slight change, but we don't have our meeting until October 14th, which I believe is a week before the open enrollment meeting.
The day after.
Or the day after our first open enrollment meeting. But we will present that information, everything we have there. I know with the 4 tiers, there's some recommendations on how the incentive's going to apply to those new rates. And other than that, we're kind of just looking at continuing with the Stay Well plan. We will have a meeting. We have a smaller committee that includes the health commissioner, Tasha, Ginger out of my office, and myself, of doing maybe some more hands or Seneca County kind of engagement to get further participation and look at creating competition within the county to get people participating either in walking or different physical or weight loss or some kind of activities like that. Right now, with 3 days left, the program ended at the end of September. We had 38.9% of our people that were eligible for the incentive. They still had 3 days to complete that. Last year, we were just over 40%. So I'm hoping those last 3 days we got numbers in that will bring us back up to where we were. And we'll get that information here in the next few weeks. I think it takes them 2 weeks to compile everything. We're into the new one. Our portals are closed for the month of October, why they calculate what we just did, but there is a look back period. So anything that people do in October, once the portal opens back up November 1st, they can actually go in and enter that information. And that will count towards their incentive for the following year. Okay, thank you.
All right.
So basically, the numbers discussed at the Health Insurance Committee meeting, being we are switching to the 4 tiers, Last year, we set the resolution based on the 2 tiers. The Health Insurance Committee discussed, you know, trying to balance that out. What their recommendation is to the board is, since we're going into a 4-tier, we'll base it off the 25% off the new 4-tier, and so that we rounded those numbers. Basically, for an individual, you get $12 a pay off. For individual or employee child, it's 22. For employee spouse is 26, and family is 35. And we're hoping to just keep those consistent, but that was the recommendation. We had some odd numbers come out last year, so we think this is actually a better way to calculate it. So we've always done an estimate of 25%. Anybody that reached those goals would get 25% off their premiums. Is what we've done in the past, so that's what we based the number on this year.
And that also takes into account that the spouse, if on the insurance is with a spouse waiver, and if they're employed otherwise and have the insurance offered, but also if the spouse is on the plan, they have to participate in the.
Next year, yes.
Next year, they will have to participate for the employee to get any premium discount, not just the employee, right?
Yeah, that's what we're looking at next year.
Yeah. Okay. Do you want to go ahead with that resolution while we got those folks present who might have to leave?
Well, I have to, because we've already passed the resolution once, I'm still working on the amendment,
Okay.
because I actually need 3 resolutions, so.
Oh, okay, so we're not going to do them
No,
today?
I won't do them.
Okay, so that's
But
just the update on
As
it.
long as you're okay with those numbers are the numbers I can plug in. It's basically 25% off the new premiums.
You guys okay with that? That sounds good, like to her to prepare that way?
Yeah, well, I mean, I beat this horse pretty hard. But it certainly would be nice if maybe we could have a deeper discount for families, because again, they're the ones getting hit the hardest with all this change. So this might be another way to skin that cat, to give them a larger discount because they're taking the brunt of the increase because of our decision to go 4-tier. So, since we're not approving it today, I would like at least that committee to give that some consideration. I've been trying to find a way to lessen the blow to the families, and maybe this is one vehicle by which we can get that done.
Well, if they've completed their wellness program, if they got their points, they actually will be paying less than what they did last year. Last year was $115. This year is going up to $138 with a $35 per paid discount. It'll actually be a little,
Right, but I
little
mean,
more.
yeah.
It'll be savings for them if they completed the
if they did
wellness.
the wellness.
But
So if they,
that'll be exponentially larger though for the individual for the spouse, individual child. My point is
Yeah.
that we continue to hit the family the hardest.
what kind of response has there been within our employee community when we unveiled the 4-tier system?
I haven't had too many calls on that. I don't know if we'll get more once they have their open enrollment meetings, which are the 12th and 13th. If we'll get more questions after that, but I haven't had any calls on,
We don't have an uproar in the community then.
and and I'll have Julie help me update. She's actually seen that, because the city of Tiffin increase was,
Yeah, wasn't it over 12% in
12%?
the paper this morning?
Yeah.
Or I read it online. What was it, Jimmy?
16.22 is the projection.
Okay.
He said it may come down. They're trying to get it to 15.
Is there an increase for
Do
next year?
they have a 4-tier system?
yes, they do.
They do, but their
Percent.
average increase was 16%? Well,
They're self-funded though, that's the variable.
So I will get those prepared for next week.
Okay. Sounds good. All right, moving into, there's no other old business we have? New/old business, the airport property, which was the house purchased and to be cleared, we were just doing the update because the inspection needs to occur that the property owner who purchased the house and got it moved, met all of those things. I know Brad Newman had brought some points up to me when we were out there last week. Mike, you were out there today, so it looks like things are tracking, that they're gonna get those complete.
Yeah, since I've been there, Fred talked to the.
yeah, I talked with the owner today, and he's gonna contact Mr. Newman And I guess from what I understand, there was 2 issues, minor issues, in that he's gonna, one of them apparently has been done, the well has been capped, and he paid to have that done. So he's just gotta show the certificate, but the long and short of it is he's gonna get with Brad Newman and to go walk around the property, and if there's anything that's not compliant, that he will certainly take care of that. It's very, very receptive to it, so
Okay.
this is all good. It's just formalities that we have to abide by county policy.
Yeah, they had filed for their permit. I don't know if it's capped yet, but they filed for their permit. So they did take the steps to do what they needed to do to get that in the works.
Well, apparently it has been done, but at least to Mr. Guido's knowledge, it's been done. Not only the permit's been filed, but it's physically been.
Okay.
That's still in question, because I'm
Yeah.
not sure. I think maybe he thinks it was done, I'm not
But,
questioning.
yeah.
But I'm not sure it did get done.
Yeah, and it was his statement too, so.
Yeah.
He's gonna get with Mr. Newman and they'll resolve those issues.
It wasn't done as of a couple of days ago, but it was too wet to walk back there and look this morning.
Rhonda, thank you for coming over here. You might want to, if you, Brad, had any additional ideas, let Rhonda know, because we talked to Rhonda last week.
Well, it's good that Ron is here, because there is one point I think we need to discuss that will involve, get the prosecutor involved, and that is that one of the consequences of doing this particular property is that they discovered that a shed in the property adjacent is about 6 feet onto county property. That, there's some solutions to that. You can ask the person to move the shed, ask them to sign a letter that says, or put a covenant in the deed that says if you ever sell the property, it's gotta be moved. My suggested solution, since it isn't necessary for the setback for the airport, and since it's property that is of really no use to anyone except the current landowner, is to give them enough, a quitclaim deed for enough land to make that shed legal, and then not have to be concerned about it into the future.
That's one of the things I'm looking into.
Okay.
Yay!
That's perfect.
I have all kinds of things I'm
The
We
only
wanna be
thing-
good neighbors here.
Yeah, trying to be good neighbors. I think the only thing we have to be careful of is that, the airport owner, the airport operator wants to do something with those trees. So we don't want to include those trees in that, or if we do, they still to give the airport operator the opportunity to cut them down or take them out or whatever he needs to do to be compliant. But I think that a good neighbor policy would be to, give them enough so they don't have to move that shed and make everybody happy. We have no use to it, it's landline. The airport has no use for it. So why not give it to somebody that can actually make it part of their property?
I will look into all of those.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Am I needed for anything else?
No, unless you want an excuse just to hang out with us. We can
Well,
say we needed you, it's
I have a
recorded.
trooper that needs my assistance on something, so
Okay.
if I'm not needed here, I'm needed elsewhere, so, thank you.
Yes, thanks, Brenda.
Thank you, Counselor.
All right, I guess then we can move into bill vouchers.
Yep, I got bill vouchers batches 21750 through 21751. I have a supplement to the permanent appropriation to the general fund. This is putting $330,624.53 into the, seems like a lot for victims assistance.
Yeah.
I think she's combining two, I think there's two different transfers, it's just into one.
That's a huge transfer.
Boca's only getting 15,000.
Okay, she's
You
got
want me to go
it.
ask her?
This is from what department?
Victims assistance. Usually her grants aren't that high, so that's why I got 330,000 straight on top of me.
The second one talks about their 15,000.
Yeah, this morning me and her were talking.
That's the out, but I don't know where the other 315,000 is.
Right, sorry about that.
No, that's okay.
That one I didn't see. The 315,000 is from the energy grant that we were shutting down last week. So part of this number, even though it said victims assistance, that's why I was like, they don't use that much. So she's adding into our transfers out that $315 for the closing down of that energy. Apparently that wasn't done when we did our batch last week.
Where does that money go?
This goes into the general fund, and we're gonna move that one, that was in our resolutions last week, to move to the capital improvement fund.
Yeah, right, we had that discussion, so.
Yep. So, okay, I'm here to read that one, and it just caught me off guard, sorry. So I have a supplement to the permit appropriations to the general fund, putting $330,642.53 into the transfers outline. Part of that is for the next resolution, moving, resolution authorizing a fund transfer be made to the Boca Expansion Project Fund for $15,000. And I have an appropriation adjustment within the M&R fund, moving $116.86 from contract projects to equipment. A resolution authorizing fund advance repayment from the EMA fund to the general fund. Like a day or two after we did the resolution, he got his drawdown, so he's just repaying it in advance.
Good.
I have a resolution authorizing the disposal of unneeded, obsolete, or unfit county-owned property, 2014 John Deere, and another 2014 John Deere on behalf of the Seneca County Engineer. The amounts are, looks like he's got trade-in values, $47,000 and $46,000.
So we're gonna put these up for auction, or these trade these in?
Trade these in. I have a resolution authorizing the purchase of a 2017 John Deere 6110M tractors through the Ohio Department of Administrative Services Cooperative Purchasing Program on behalf of Seneca County Engineer.
So the dollar amount on that?
Yep,
93,000?
Yep. And I have a resolution setting time, date, and place to receive sealed bids from Seneca County Prosecutor's Office. The renovation's located at 79 South Washington Street. We are setting that at 10:30 on Tuesday, November 1st, 2016, at the Commissioner's Office.
That's Fifth Third?
That is Fifth Third. Yep, which would be the new Prosecutor's Victims Assistance area.
We have the engineering.
It was 100, estimate is 148.
Do we have the estimate for Board of Election yet?
Not yet.
Can meet with them later this week to go over preliminary plans, so,
Hopefully soon.
yeah, so we should,
That's your meeting Thursday, right?
yeah.
And that's all the resolutions I have.
$140,000 just to renovate the bottom floor?
The
of the
third
Fifth
part?
Third?
Yeah.
And that will be handicap accessible?
Mhm. Let me see what the biggest expenses are.
We'll have heating and cooling and walls and windows and
Looks
flooring
like
and all that good
plumbing's,
stuff.
plumbing's a big one, and flooring is a big expense.
Yeah, that'll take long.
Yeah, it doesn't take long. And we can look at the numbers too, to see what their estimate's based on.
You wanna see the numbers, Rick?
Yes, please.
Hopefully it'll come in lower, but that's the estimate we got. So I'll put those up on the website.
And that was November 1st is when we're
Yep.
hoping that's.
Yep.
I'm sure with all the issues with drugs right now, the prosecutor's office is absolutely just beyond belief.
All right, anything else? We'll go to the order. Nothing else? Okay. Motion to approve the resolutions as stated.
Make a motion and we approve it as stated.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any concerns, questions, comments? Okay, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Kirschner?
Yes.
Commissioner Zoller?
Yes.
Commissioner Stacy?
Yes. All approved. Thank you. All right. I'm going to do these announcements so we don't forget them, because I tend to do that, and then we'll have citizens' comments. And that's just that on October 11th, Our work session, we're going to begin at a half hour earlier, beginning at 9 o'clock. And we've invited and asked all the department heads and elected officials to be here, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to talk about records.
Records retention.
Records retention.
And the strategic planning.
Okay. And then, Records Commission meeting is the next day on October 12th at 8:30 a.m. here in the Commissioner's office. On our board session on October 18th, we'll be into our quarterly evening meeting, and it will be held at the Reed Township House on State Route 162 Republic at 7 p.m. that night. So there is the update of the schedule of things. So at this time, your vision is a very small room, aren't you, Ken? I can just tell. He's going, you looked, I thought your look was like, how are you guys gonna fit in there? It is a small room. And the last time we were there, I don't think they had any heat and it was cold, I remember.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Or it was for one of their meetings I was there, I don't know which. Be a quick meeting if that's the case.
Might want to bring a chair.
All
Where
right,
is the Reed Township? Is that?
State Route 162.
162 heading out of Republic.
How far out?
Pretty far out.
Pretty far
I was gonna say,
out.
it's getting close to
Past
4.
4?
No,
No,
No.
before 4.
You'd be out
Just
of the
before
county.
4, probably 2 miles before 4.
Pardon?
About 2 miles south of 4.
Just wait a-
I guess west of 4.
West of 4.
Yeah, west of 4. Wouldn't be west of it, north of it.
Hop on 62 and go for a drive.
You'll see it's a little white building on the left.
Yep. All right, citizens' comments. Do we have anyone who would like to make comments at this time?
Yeah, I have a question. What's the status of the building down there on Jefferson Street?
81 Jefferson?
81 Jefferson?
The county building that
I'll let you talk.
was county offices there.
It's still there.
Yeah, I understand.
It's got a
I
bunch of
figured
records
that out
in
at
it.
least 15 minutes ago, you know?
Yeah, it's got a bunch
No,
of
but-
records in it. It has some real needs. She's a beauty, but I don't, you know, we just have to discuss what we're gonna do into the future. And as part of the building committee's, kind of the future plans. That building needs to come down because it's lost its useful life. It's unfortunate because there's some, you know, as everybody knows, that's Dr. Harold's old building, and there's some neat architecture in there. I mean, there's some molding on the second floor where his residence was. It was kind of that, you know, real artwork, a couple of new fireplaces. It was a beautiful building in its day, but it has seen its useful life. And I think even people that have some historical knowledge say that there really isn't anything to save anymore. So I could be.
Reason why I'm asking that question is that I didn't know if it had any practical use for the county, you know, or
Other than the storage right now, there's a lot of neat,
Well-
you know, a guy could spend a week in there going through those archival records. It's neat stuff, you know. But if we don't get those somewhere in a climate-controlled, non-basement atmosphere, we're gonna lose them all. The
well,
binders are coming apart, the cloth is kind of deteriorating. It's not pretty.
Yeah, it's kind of
Yeah,
smelly
reason
down
why-
there too, if I recall. It's damp. I mean, it's,
reason why I'm asking that question is that I thought that might be kind of a good site for use by the library. You know, I thought maybe somewhere along the line there could be some,
We have discussed, Delmer, putting it up for auction, and moving those records out of there, seeing who might be interested in it. Library could be one of those people. You know, we've discussed, any proceeds that we get out of that building or any buildings that we're using for storage, maybe looking at in the future, putting up a climate-controlled archival center.
yeah.
That makes sense, that the building is built for storage rather than, you know, that building has, as you guys know, basically 4 floors with the basement. There is an elevator that works, but who knows how long that's gonna work. And it's, the staircases are all narrow. I mean, to expect people from the clerk's office or the treasurer's office to go over there and look up records, which is what they're doing on a regular basis now, is just, you know, way beyond the call of duty. Let's just say that.
We go over there as well.
Yeah.
Not we as in me.
Right, I
We as
understand.
in
The
people
royal,
work
yes.
with.
Yeah.
Because I,
Yeah, I mean, again,
it's pretty
you know,
bad. It's pretty bad. Musty.
I mean-
And as Mr. Kirshner said, the binders are becoming deteriorating and
I was just thinking if, if it's gonna sit there vacant and really with no use.
Yeah, well,
I thought maybe, I
certainly
think
could, you know,
maybe that there was some.
I'd hope that maybe we could repurpose it for some reason, but I think it's beyond that at this point.
Yeah.
And I really think that we need to consider putting it up for sale and letting the private industry, the private sector decide what its fate's going to be.
Was that one put up for sale years ago too, or
Yes.
was it?
Yep, I think we tried to sell it a couple times.
No bids.
Well, actually, we should have taken the last one, but
Your first loss is your least loss. How much was the bid at that point?
I want
Do you
to
remember?
say it was 60.
We're not gonna get any
Oh,
more.
I
like
know.
that.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
yeah.
Should have taken it.
Should have ran with that one.
A dollar might be a lot at this point.
Or two.
Yep. That's
Yeah.
when we first, our office was the last one to move out of there, so, I mean,
So it had.
Hindsight's great.
Yeah.
They tell me there was actually a hospital in there. I mean, he actually had hospital rooms where the commissioner's offices were. I don't know, that's the historical portion of that.
Or ghost.
I didn't
No.
see any ghosts. I don't guess you're supposed to see them, I don't know. I did feel a cool breeze.
Judge Spellenberg used to have his chambers over there
Did he?
Did he?
at the very beginning in
Wow.
1987.
Yeah. You know, it was a nice old building in its day, and unfortunately, it no longer is.
Anything else for citizens' comments?
did we want to, I know Fred, you and I went over some of the ECHO numbers. Did we want to bring that up again? Because I'm sure if he's going to need to move forward with that, he wants to get some
Talking about a Sentinel or?
ECHO unit,
Yeah,
no,
right, okay.
the 24-hour shift.
Oh, that's right, we're talking,
Oh,
yeah.
further discussion on that?
If you, I mean, I didn't have that on the agenda today, I just,
Right.
Fred and I talked about it, and
Yeah, I mean, I had a
Put
tough
it on
time
the
trying
agenda.
to grasp your numbers, but when I kept thinking Echo had 2 paramedics for each shift.
No.
And I'm looking at, wow, you can't, I think.
No, it wouldn't-
$100,000,
Right.
but you're not gonna hire 6 people.
No, you're off by
Yeah,
a
for
couple hundred
$100,000.
thousand, yeah.
Well, so it's one person, so
Right.
the Echo unit, as I understand it, is when there's an EMS call, the
Right.
Echo unit just trails
Yes.
the township.
Right.
So it basically is a extra hand in a
Right,
emergency situation out there. So
Right.
it's only one person
right,
per shift.
right.
And that I can justify your numbers at.
Right, the ECHO, like I said, and I'll just reiterate just a few points. We started that project in 2008, and at that time, I was quoted in the newspaper saying it's Band-Aid on a bullet hole. Unfortunate quote, but it is indeed that. And we knew at the time that this had a limited lifespan, and our goal at the time was to push forward to be a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week operation with full-time employees. My goal for Seneca County EMS is to be the career destination, not a stepping stone. So in order to do that, we need to move forward with a project that makes it a place where someone of that caliber of person, a paramedic with 5 years of experience, wants to come and work forever. This is their career destination, not like I need to get here to get that on my resume. They want to come here, and this is where they're going to be for 20 to 30 years. With a part-time gig, 12 hours a day, we don't have that. 24-hour operation would create 3 full-time jobs in Seneca County for emergency medicine. And that's something we've never been able to offer, and I think we can do it. And I think the budget shows that we can do it, and I think that it's economical, and the cost is doable. And those are the things that I worked with the county administrator on, and we beat our heads on that. And I know we've never had a 24-hour-a-day employee at the county. So we reached out to neighboring counties and different communities that do that all the time. And we've learned a lot, and I think that the numbers are solid. And maybe I didn't explain it well the first time, but it is a one-person vehicle that supports 10 townships, 5 villages, 4 joint ambulance districts on every response that they go on in the county. And the same care at 2 a.m. as you get at 2 p.m. I think is important. The acuity of the runs at night seem to be a lot higher, meaning that there's sicker patients. A lot of folks, me included, and I'm sure all of us here, you're sick during the day, you don't feel well, but at 2 in the morning it becomes an emergency. And that's a lot of times how that happens. So we need to make sure we put our best foot forward, bring experienced advanced life support to the scene 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And that's really what I'm asking for. And I know we've discussed it, and I know I haven't had an opportunity to come before you since that time, so.
Might even mean to put you on the spot.
I'm ready to
It
be
just
put on the
reminded
spot.
me.
Yeah.
I'm ready to be put on the
Yeah.
spot, because this is very important.
Yeah,
to-
your numbers are solid.
Thank
I
you.
mean, I didn't agree with you, but until Stacy and I went through them, they're solid. I know that I feel, and I'm sure my fellow commissioners feel the same way, that the primary responsibility that we have as commissioners is make sure the safety and the welfare of our citizens of Seneca County are taken care of. And I understand your thought process. 2 p.m. should have the same service as 2 a.m. I mean,
Right.
what it is, it is.
And
How we're gonna come up with the
we've-
additional, your budgets are firm, but how we're gonna come up with that
Sure.
additional funding is, I think, that's something that we have to massage.
Right.
And as we get budgets in this year, I would like to look at that as a high priority of trying to get that in.
Okay. Well, it's like one of the talking points that I used when we were discussing joint ambulance districts and moving forward with the community-based EMS was that we need to prioritize our EMS response. And I don't want that to just be a talking point. I want to walk that walk. And that's what I'm trying to do.
How many part-time people do you have now that can staff Echo, and it's 8 to 8?
I have about 12 people on the roster. About 6 of them work regularly. Some of them do fill-in. I do plan to keep one part-time position, 3 full-time positions, and what that'll do is minimize the overtime. I know we talked about that with the money, but also it'll keep 4 or 5 or so part-time people able to do the fill-in for vacation relief, sick time, all the things that happen when you have full-time positions. But it'll also provide an opportunity for part-time people moving up to the full-time spots. So we'll have about 4 or 5, I'm thinking 5 part-time people and 3 full-time. And part-time people will work about 24 hours a week, and then the full-timers will work 48. So, and that's how that's gonna work.
And as far as the support, I think you mentioned this the last time, from the joint ambulance districts that are out there.
Yes.
They're all for this because,
Yes.
again, the level of service that we can provide.
Absolutely. This will provide us advanced life support 24 hours a day. Obviously, if there's 2 runs at the same time, that person needs to be experienced enough to triage that call and go to the one that's most appropriate. And it also is, it's a force multiplier. When you put a paramedic in the street and your volunteers are sometimes hard to come by, it depends on what time of day it is. Usually during the day is our week time because everybody works. So that paramedic out there knowing they're coming, not thinking they're coming, but knowing they're coming, it eases the burden on the volunteers. It also is a force multiplier in the fact that it provides advanced life support immediately. So,
What is typically the lag time between the Echo unit to get out to the emergency situation?
Well, obviously that's geographic, but most of our calls happen in close proximity to the central location that we are. So they're usually on scene within 10 minutes. Obviously, if you're on the other side of Attica, it's going to take longer than that. Or up by Bettsville, it takes a little longer than that.
They're both dispatched at the same time.
Right. At the time of the call, the Echo is dispatched and they are en route within a minute. So the travel time we eat up is how long it usually takes for the EMTs to get to the station, get their ambulance, and then get to the scene. A lot of times the Echo beats them there.
That's what I was.
Or they have a pretty much simultaneous arrival. Where that doesn't happen is in the outlying areas of parts of Bloom Township and the AVR Joint Ambulance District. It takes 20 minutes to drive to Attica, no matter how fast you drive, seems like, and you have to get there safely. So with road construction and all the things that we're dealing with, it sometimes takes a while. But we also have the opportunity to do paramedic intercept, where a crew will get on scene, get the patient, do the basic life support stuff, and then bring that patient to meet the Echo en route to the hospital. Another thing that the ECHO provides is scene leadership, as also scene management. Anybody that's been around EMS, fire, managing a scene is difficult when you have multiple things going on. Having one person who's in charge of that, dealing with communications, if you're bringing helicopters in, if you have multiple things going on, having one person be able to step back and look at the big picture is really important as far as scene management goes. And it also promotes safety to the providers. So the ECHO is a force multiplier in a number of ways. And that's why we want experienced people. We want people who've been doing this a while. And I would like to see it become a career ladder. Somebody can join as a volunteer EMT and finish their career as a full-time career paramedic with Seneca County EMS. I think that,
As with me with a lot of things, it comes down to numbers. You said that you have 3 people going to work 48 hours a week.
sir.
That's 144 hours. There's 168 hours in a week, so
Right.
what?
That's where the part-timer comes in.
Okay, so you're gonna give those guys sporadically days off, or they're gonna work 6 days in a row and the part-timers are gonna work a complete day?
They'll work 24 hours on, 48 hours off continuously. Every third week, they'll get an extra day off.
So this part-timer will just have some,
In the fire department parlance, that's known as a Kelly day or Kelly shift, whereas you work 24 on, 48 off for 3 weeks. At the end, in the middle of that third week, you get an extra day off, so you have 5 days off. That part-timer fills that shift. And you rotate that, so it ends up being once a week, there's a part-time shift. That minimizes overtime. There's gonna be some, but it minimizes overtime, and that's, we budgeted that overtime. It minimizes the overtime, and it also takes advantage of having the part-time roster so that we can have that position available for people who want part-time work. And we do have a lot of paramedics in the area that won't be willing to come here full-time. If you're a 20-year paramedic in the city of Tiffin, you're certainly not gonna come here and take a pay cut full-time. But we do have some folks that are either close to retirement and want part-time, or when they retire from their full-time job as a firefighter paramedic at the age of 48 years old, they could come here and work another 20 years full-time. So we can really take advantage of the demographic that we have here. Back in the 80s when I started, paramedics were rare. Now you pretty much bump into one wherever you go. So paramedics are available, and I think we would be, people would want to come to work here with a full-time job. So,
In 2008, the goal was to get to a 24-hour.
It was.
When we started ECHO, as you said. What do you foresee, and if you don't want to comment on this now, what do you foresee the next long-term or short-term goal is in another 8-9 years?
Within the next
for
10
Seneca
years,
County?
what I foresee is 4 strong joint ambulance districts paying their people, not compensating their people, paying their people. That's what I see in the next 10 years.
That would mimic like Sandusky County then, right?
Not entirely. Sandusky County is fully financed by the county through a 0.25% sales tax, permanent. This would be a collaborative effort between the joint ambulance districts and the townships and the county. Currently doing the way we do it, the county providing all of the equipment, training, compliance, and a paramedic, 24 hours a day. And then the joint ambulance districts would be providing a one full-time crew, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And that crew would have to be at least basic EMT trained. Economically, we've looked at the numbers on that. It's never gonna get cheaper than it is right now. But realistically speaking, a full-time basic EMT ambulance costs you about $275,000 a year. And that's too much to ask of a joint ambulance district consisting of 2 townships and a village currently. But as time moves forward, volunteers become less and less available. So I think that's what my goal is. It's within 10 years, we're gonna see that. And I think we're gonna see it a lot sooner in some of the areas. And at least that's the goal.
How's the Green Springs things going?
I think they're doing well.
Are they?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you, sir. We're going to make sure we look at the new ambulance
Yes.
when we're done here.
And whatever you guys need further from me to move forward on this, my goal is to start January 1. So hopefully we can make a decision
Well, again, as I said, when we start putting budgets together.
Yep, I know that's soon, that's this month, so.
Yeah, and I would like to keep that at the top of the list first. I mean, there's a lot of things
And I
that,
really appreciate that. Just, you're looking at a guy's holding his breath hoping this works. So, I appreciate your time.
don't hold it too long, there's an ambulance out there.
There's no oxygen in it yet, so I might,
That breathe.
yeah.
Okay, this is wrapping up our citizens' comments for this week. If no one else had anything else,
I will move for adjournment.
I will second that.
motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We stand adjourned. It is 10:50. Thank you.